Took a little bit longer than I expected, but today I got to Diamond. Probably would have helped if I, you know, stopped switching characters all the time, but it's all right. It worked out in the end. These are the stats, though, here on the screen. Nothing really to write home about. Took 346 games to go from, I think, Plat 2 all the way up to Diamond 1. Win rate, 53%. Doesn't really matter too much. My Cammy win rate, though, that thing is pretty nice, 63%. But my Cammy is only in, like, Plat 3, so that's probably my next project. That win rate is a little bit inflated, though, because if you remember, I completely threw my Cammy placements, and I got put in, like, silver or something. So the first probably 50 to 75 games was just me climbing into Plat. Yeah, these are the numbers for now, if you were curious. I've also played, I think, 77 hours so far. Let me know how long you guys have played in the comments. Not that it matters or anything, I just am curious. This video is not for stats nerds or for me to show off my fancy little badges. I want to talk to you about the things that I learned kind of rising through the Plat ranks. So I'm going to throw some gameplay on in the background, and let's talk. Oh, real quick, though, before we go too crazy and I forget, we're getting close to 10,000 subs. So if you're not subbed, you enjoy this video, you enjoy anything you see me make, please consider subscribing. Thanks. Well, first and foremost, I'd like to talk about some of the things that I saw in the Platinum rank zone, because it's the one that's the most fresh in my mind. And I'm not speaking like I'm way better than Plat players. I'm only Diamond 1 right now, and barely that. So I'm basically a Plat player at heart. But you will see some very strange things in that rank zone. It was the same way in Street Fighter V. To me, it feels like most people in that rank, or people who get stuck in that rank, have a gimmick. They have like one gimmick they're very good at, that they've almost mastered, and if you don't know how to beat it, they will beat you. And the gimmicks aren't always as obvious as like, oh, he's just going to Blanca ball me 50 times, or this Honda player is just going to headbutt me 50 times. Those are things you need to know how to punish, though, for sure, because they will test you. That will be the first thing that any Honda or Blanca player will test you, is they will do a heavy ball, or they will just do a bunch of headbutts until you either perfect parry it, you normal parry it, maybe a late DI, or maybe your character has some option against it, right? Like Manon can EX spin Blanca's ball like as it's coming. You need to know how to punish moves like that for sure, but you will quickly learn that there are more subtle gimmicks in the game that that maybe you haven't even thought about labbing yet. For example, today I played against a Ken, not the one on the screen, not Integra. I played against another Ken who did like, it was like a multiple choice test when the game started. He did run stop, I checked it. He did a jump, I checked it, and then he did a drive rush, and I checked that. And then finally, he hit me with a Dragon Lash kick. I was like, oh, fuck. I don't know how to stop it. I forgot how to stop Dragon Lash kick. And so he almost beat me completely with just Dragon Lash kick. But luckily, I got a bunch of medal levels, and I fucking threw that man twice in the last round, and he died because the Manon's level 5 command grab does like 37%. So you could take 2 of them and then maybe a mix-up, but I don't know, I killed him. And that's kind of the benefit of my character, right? He presented an option I didn't know how to deal with, so I just kind of played around it and then threw him twice. Not every character can get away with that. But after that, I headed in the lab, and I said, okay, I'm gonna make Ken do his little Dragon Lash kick, and I'll find the punish. And the only thing I could figure out is if he commits, like if he constantly commits to the jab afterwards, you can DI after the Dragon Lash kick. You can parry the Dragon Lash kick. I'm sure you can perfect parry it. I couldn't get it to work, but I'm sure you can perfect parry and get a big punish there. So you can kind of use the universal mechanics. I didn't try to do EX spin grab, so that might be an option. But he is airborne, right? So that also presents something else. You might be able to hit him out of the air. I don't know. And when I say he's airborne, he is airborne. Like Manon's level 1 super will just go straight under that thing because he's technically in the air, like he's technically jumping. It's very strange. Let's get a little off topic. What I kind of want to what I kind of wanted to get across is that will happen a lot, like while you're ranking up, is you will run into an option that somebody is going to use against you over and over and over again until you just go in the lab and like figure it out. And some people aren't very good at that. Some people feel like the lab is homework and the lab is boring. But I think it's a necessary evil if you want to get better. Also, if you have trouble figuring out what the option even is, make sure to watch your replays. If you don't even know why you lost, I mean, you can identify it pretty easily if you just watch the replay. Also, speaking of replays, everybody who keeps commenting asking if I have a like frame data mod, That is not a mod. That is just in the replay system. You can turn on real-time frame data. You can't have that like in a real game. The other thing we need to talk about is the fact that some people are relying very heavily on the drive system, like way too heavily on the drive system right now. And you can take advantage of that in a lot of cases. For example, I noticed that jury players, DJ players, characters with really good drive rushes will walk backwards for, I mean, God knows how long. Like, they'll just keep walking backwards, and then eventually you'll see them start the parry and then drive rush just at you over and over again. They'll keep doing this. They'll just walk backwards and drive rush at you as you try to walk forwards. So you have to get used to at least trying to check it. And I know it sucks because sometimes you're going to mess up the check, and then you're just going to eat a full combo, but you have to at least try and deter them. And there's a couple ways you can do it. One is reacting. You know, you just check it with a light. Sometimes you can throw out little preemptive buttons. As you move forward, you can maybe stick out like a medium, stick out a light, and maybe catch them drive rushing preemptively. Also, if your character has projectiles, that's a great way to stop drive rushes. Just throw some fireballs. And then when it comes to drive impact, which is like the other half of the system that I see a lot of people abusing still, I think you just have to be aware of it in the corner a lot of the time, because most people, if you block things out, most people will eventually DI, and you can look for it. The other thing they'll do is they'll drive rush off of a button to like retake their pressure. And if you think they're going to do that, something that one of my friends taught me is that it's not good to DI back, right? Which sounds very obvious, but I think instinctually a lot of us still do it. It's better to like hold parry. So like if they have put themselves out of range to keep pressuring you in the corner, and then you know they're going to drive rush back in, you can hold parry and you'll just like parry all their stuff. And remember, after the first button, after drive rush, they're usually negative, unless I think maybe DJ has like a crouch medium punch, or drive rush crouch medium punch, stand medium punch. That might be plus. I think that's a little bit more situational, but I think rule of thumb is after the first button after a drive rush, most characters are negative. Not all of them, but most of them. And I know it's really hard to react to that, because you just kind of panic whenever they drive rush in and press a button, and then they press another one right afterwards. You're like, damn, I kind of like missed my chance. And I'm not very good at reacting to it myself at all. What else? Oh, my drive gauge usage has been pretty abysmal. Like, I don't do drive rush combos at all. Like, very rarely do I even remember to. I'll like whiff punish into like the safest follow-up ever. I'll always forget to drive rush to get my damage and my space. And I also panic DI a lot in the corner. Like, I'm very guilty of all the things I'm telling you not to do or that people do against me. I'm also very guilty of doing it myself. Definitely some of the things, like bad habits I've developed is like DIing, trying to DI out of the corner, trying to randomly DI, trying to level 1 super all the time for some reason. I don't know where that one came from, but like I will panic, level 1 super, and just throw a game. Like the shit is ridiculous. Some of the shit that I've did today even was ridiculous. Like, I don't even know where I got the idea in my head to try it and why I thought it would work. I know there's probably a bunch of other things that I learned that I'm not remembering right now, but I think lastly, the biggest thing you have to remember is that you are at your rank for a reason. And that goes both ways, you know? Like, if you feel like your rank is too low, like you feel like you should be higher, kind of like the way that I've been talking in some of these other videos, it's probably not the case, right? The system is pretty good. It knows where to put you, and if you're getting better, you will rise the ranks. But to go the other way, if you feel like your rank is too high and that you can't win against the opponents you're getting placed against, it's also probably not the case. You're probably just having a bad day. Unless you're like a beginner who selected advanced at the beginning. Do you guys remember that when you clicked rank and it made you select what your rank level was? If you're a beginner and you put advanced, then you know, maybe your rank is inflated because you shouldn't have done that. But I mean, it's not really your fault because we didn't know how much weight that actually carries, but it does carry a decent amount of weight, because I've had friends who set themselves as advanced and then pick just a random character, go like, I don't know, 3 and 7 in their placements, and then get put diamond 1. And then me, for example, I went 7 and 3 or something like that. And no, I went 6 and 4. and I got like plat 2 or plat 3. It does have a pretty heavy bearing because if you set advanced, it doesn't want to put you at too low of a level to where you're just going to stomp people. So there's like a threshold. But that's probably not what you did. I think most of you hopefully answered that little thing honestly, so you would get some decent matches. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please consider subscribing, and I'll talk to you again very soon.